everyone, welcome back to the Anime Iceberg. I'm Megan,
And I'm Meg.
and today we're talking about Dr. Stone episode 44, The Trump Card Aboard the Science Vessel.
Yes, in this episode, Amaryllis explains how she evaded petrification and how she came to her decision to sneak into the inner palace.
Yes, and this covers chapters 106, The Secret of Petrification, 107, Ace in the Hole on the Ship of Science, and 108, Double Ace in the Hole. And we got a special note for this episode. It isn't this way anymore. The voice actors came back in and redubbed over these parts. But when we first watched this episode, at the time, Erin Dismuke was on vocal rest, and I believe that oh, her name's escaping me. Suika. I believe that Suika's voice actress is also absent for that one. I didn't notice, but I had heard later online. But anyway, Senku was actually voiced by Matt Shipman, who is Chrome's voice actor. So for us, that was kind of a trip the first time we watched it because Senku opened his mouth and all of a sudden it was Chrome talking. But
hmm
they did redub it, so it's back to normal now. But for the time, I was glad that Matt got to voice Senku for one because he did a good job. I mean, you could still tell it was Chrome, but he did Senku's inflections very well. But for another reason, because Chrome obviously is going to be absent from the show for a bit, so I was glad that Matt could get in the booth and earn some money.
hmm Yeah, I definitely was taken aback when what happened was we started watching the episode and then we quit because we were like, we can't do this. And we waited, I don't know how long we waited for them to like
Yeah,
redub it, but then like I think we both like couldn't quite remember, but we think we gave up and just watched it with uh
yeah,
Matt dubbing it. And it was yeah, it was fine. But
yeah. But
I
I
missed
went back.
Aaron.
Yeah. I mean, he is Senku. But I went back like a couple months later because Ava and I were watching it together and it was back to normal by then. So I told her the story and I was like, "Oh, you didn't catch this, but this happened." And but that was, I mean, that happens. And even now in season 4, at the time of recording this, we just watched the last episode before the break, yesterday. But even with season 4, they had somebody filling in a role, which we'll probably mention when we get there.
hmm Yes, but that person
That's
will
not the lead.
likely yes, and they won't be back likely. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't have any details. Hopefully we can research that
Yeah.
when we get there.
Anyway,
Yes.
yeah, let's get into it. Um, so Amaryllis shares her story after like dropping the bomb that she knows the secret about the petrification. She, I think it was 5 years ago, we see Amaryllis and her friends go out to sea.
Yeah.
And they're all super excited, and she's very nervous and doesn't want
Yes.
to because they're not supposed to.
Yes. Side
Um,
note, she's 13 in that flashback, so she's 18 now.
hmm Yeah, and so they're out there, but then we see another boat coming, and it's the top two on the island, and they've followed them. And she saw them, one of them, throw something up into the air. Then her friends turned to stone, but they had pushed her back far enough where she also didn't get turned to stone.
Yeah.
But she had to like she started to, her hair started to, and she broke it off and
And
stopped
then
it.
and then dove into the water. Yep.
Yes. Yep, and Senku is very excited about this. He learns three things from this that the whatever it was has a limited area of effect. It can be thrown and it also can be stopped.
Yes. It's a valuable information to glean because he realizes that the petrification can affect whoever is using it as well. So the fact that it has to be thrown far enough away, he's like, that's our opportunity. That's when we need to grab it.
Yes. And this is basically the reason why Amaryllis is wanting to get into the inner palace so then she can take whatever it is to stop them from turning more people to stone. But so the top two, it was a guy and a girl. Um, the girl is Kirisame. The guy, I
Maz.
don't know if, yeah, Maz. I don't think they did they say his name? I don't know.
Yes, they did.
Um,
Yeah.
okay. Uh, yeah, Kirisame is the one who has the weapon, and she's not gonna be swayed by Amaryllis's beauty. Um,
She's
so
immune.
they, yeah, just like Senku. So they need they need a second person to go in, and everybody's like, who can do that? We need someone strong, but also f feminine. And they all look at Kohaku, and she's like, I got this. I just need to be chosen. And they look at her wild hair and the weapons on her, and they're like, do you hear yourself? Gen and Senku are not so sure about this plan.
I like
Um,
Soyuz's response. He's just like, I don't think your sword and shield are a good match for your dress.
yeah, they decide to give her a makeover, and yeah, she puts on a dress and she tries to take her weapons.
Yep.
Um,
Uh, Cute little detail in the manga when they mentioned doing a science makeover. Senku is the science expert, Gen is the psychology expert, Amaryllis is the cosmetics expert, and so he uses the test subject. Will he go Yowza?
they're the perfect team.
Yes. And
Um,
Senku calls it the sexy side of science. Those words out of his mouth,
oh
I don't
man,
know.
I'm sad we didn't get that line. Uh, oh man. Uh, yes, so they're gonna give Kahaku a makeover, but they need the lab. So they head back towards the boat and they see that there's people on it. And Amaryllis points out their I guess they call him the second in command. Um,
He's
and-
he's called Minister in the manga.
okay.
Minister Ibarra.
Ibarra, yes, yes. And they're on the boat and they are, I don't know.
They're kind of like
They're
scouting because
yeah, they're
the ship
scouting
has a
and
bunch of
they're
things that they've never seen before, and then Ibarra goes over to our petrified friends and he's like, "Oh, their outfits are so cute. We'll repurpose them for the girls in the harem." And then he like flicks Chrome down and Chrome's head pops off, and that's when Kohaku loses it and starts heading towards the ship. She like snaps the line that Ken's got tied around her wrist. And I was like, yeah, she got mad. That's her future brother-in-law.
Yep, she's done. Um, but before she can like get to the boat, Kisame finds her and attacks, and she can't really fight back that well because she's still in that
Yeah, Kohaku's got that
dress.
dress. Which, okay, this is
And
important. This is an important moment in cinematic history. Thank you for pointing out that women can't fight in dresses like that, like a ball gown dress. Because like this is one of the most annoying things to me, but when I'm playing Genshin Impact, a lot of the girls are in dresses. Granted, they're shorter dresses, not ballroom dresses, but like dresses and heels. You ain't gonna be swinging a sword
heels.
around. Yeah, they've got heels. Like, just give me one of the boys' outfits from that game. They've got like nice baggy pants and like laced up shoes and like they can actually fight. I get it, the girls want to look cool, but like I'm not gonna be
Nah.
fighting in a cute little dress.
Yeah, you can wear an awesome pair of like combat boots.
Yeah,
Even make them look pretty.
yeah.
And haven't those people that designed Genshin Impact ever seen She's the Man?
I'm guessing no.
Yeah, heels, what would you say? Heels are an invention by men to make it harder for women to run away.
Yeah.
They're not meant for fighting.
Oh, side note, there's this lady at church who sings every Sunday, and she's like always dressed to the nines, like she's a fashion icon. But this last Sunday, she was wearing like these stiletto heels, and I was thinking, my word, please don't trip up those stairs.
Wow, that's impressive. I have worn heels, but always like the chunky ones, never
Yeah.
stilettos. I think I have fallen standing completely still. And my foot just went and I just
First.
collapsed. Like, oh my goodness.
Yep.
So no stilettos for me.
Nope.
Anyway, uh Kawako is losing because she can't fight back, and she's trying to come up with some kind of distraction. Um, and she's like, there has to be someone else that made it. And so she yells for the lab. And of course, um, as Soyuz says, like nobody on the island knows what the lab means, so it's kind of um
Like speaking
a
in code.
code. Yeah, and Gen decides to use this to their advantage, because they can't have anybody questioning who Kohaku is. And so he pretends like Senku is the lab. And
It's like lab is his name. Yes, that's a name. It's a name.
yep. And then
And thus
Kohaku.
ensues one of the best scenes in the anime,
Yep.
where Senku and Kohaku pretend to be, lovers having a tryst in the night. So that's why she was yelling for lab. And Senku's kind of just like, yeah, sure, whatever gets us to safety. But Kohaku's like, we gotta commit to the bit. And she goes in for a smooch. And all of the shippers out there are going, could this be? But no, she gives him a peck on the cheek, and none of them look happy about it.
Yeah, if you look at their faces, they're not into it. But Kirisame is fooled. Her face gets all red and she like runs away.
I love how
Um,
bashful she is.
yeah. That seeing that, I was like, oh, she's not all bad.
Nah.
Um, so now they're free to just continue scouting and figure out what to do. And this is when we get a glimpse of what happened earlier in the day. We get to see both Ryusui's and Ukyo's like final thoughts and actions. And we see Ryusui's the one who first spots the danger, and you see him thinking through like these are my he's just so smart because he first figures out like I'm about to be immobilized, um, and it's because of this thing in the air. And what am I gonna do in in my final moments to help to help our cause? And he spots Suika and like
Drop
you
kicks
like
her.
yeah, like Megan said last week, punts her like a football.
The pose he made, I was like, man, he belongs in Blue Lock. That was like good form for kicking.
And then we see Ukyo has come to the same conclusion as Ryusui, that this thing in the sky is a danger, and so he shoots an arrow and kind of puts it off its course, and this allows Ginro to survive, who had jumped into the water.
Yep.
It stopped literally like right before him. Um, and then we go back to the present, and our crew has discovered that Ginro has survived, and they're
No.
all
I
disappointed. They're like,
kind of felt bad that they reacted like
you're
that.
right, it's like a little bit rough, like, ouch. Um,
I mean, granted, he's not the best person that could have
yeah,
survived,
and
but
he,
there are worse. It could have been Yo or
yeah,
Mantle.
yes, yes, okay, could you even imagine if Mantle survived? First of all, that'd be so random because he's like barely in it, but like,
I would have been like, he can fend for himself. Let's leave him. Take Suika and
yeah.
go.
Yep. You're like, oh no. Oh man. That would actually been, but that also would have been so hilarious. Oh Wow. Okay, anyway, but Ginro like immediately proves why he's like not the
Not the
best
best.
because he's like, save me. And then he like almost gets caught, but someone else saves him because they cause a distraction, and that's because it's Suika. And she's on board too, and she's gonna make sure that they get the lab.
And Senku calls her our inside woman.
Yes.
Yeah, so exciting episode. A couple of manga notes. So at the end of volume 12, there was a fun little crossword puzzle. Obviously I won't read all of that, but it had a hidden answer in it that had a clue for the next volume. And the answer was there's a survivor on the ship. So it gives you this little hint that uh Ginro is back in action. And then we also started volume 13. So, Yuichiro Inagaki says, in light of the Perseus appearing in the story, I did some research about motorized sailing ships. The one in the picture, and there's a picture above, is the Meiji Maru, which is once an actual operational ship. That one wasn't the model for the Perseus, but I did get to ask lots of questions and learn interesting things about real ships. To sum up my impression, I'd say sailing ships are just the thing to fire up your shonen spirit. And then Voichi says, as an artist, watching an anime based on my own series can be very educational because artists much more talented than me work on the anime and use their expertise to make Dr. Stone even more beautiful. Every time I watch, I find myself wishing I had drawn the manga differently. They alter the drawings and portrayals in certain ways to accommodate the fact that it's animated. If my own drawings improve, I suppose that improvement would also be reflected in the anime. I feel like I'll keep growing as long as the anime continues. At least I hope so. I can't wait to watch this week's episode and learn something new. Dude, shut up. You're awesome. And then also something fun. So they were talking about, like who would be the best person who would have survived on the Perseus and uh if it was like a gotcha game and stuff. So they have like these playing cards, kind of look like Pokemon cards, and you actually get to read what they say in the manga. So Ryusui is an SSR rank. It says attribute, desire. Draw 5 cards of your choice. Francois, SSR, attribute, backing. Other cards. Hmm. Okay, the card is a little bit obscured in that frame, but I think it's like other character cards have twice the standard effect. I think that's what it says.
That makes sense.
And then Ginro is a GGR class, which means Gesu Gesu rare. Gesu in Japanese means sleazy. And his attribute is sleaze, runs away on the same turn he's placed on the field.
Yep, seems about right.
Yep. But then at the very end of the chapter, we get Suika's card, and hers is SSR, and it says attribute infiltration. Take a peek at all game cards at any point. Um, and then there's like a little Mecha Senku uh bonus for more cards for more characters who could be useful. The rareness ratings reflect the character's usefulness in regard to the scheme to retrieve the mobile lab. A different plan would mean different rarities. Ukyo, SSR. Attribute sniping. Choose 5 cards from the opponent's deck and discard them. Magma, SR. Attribute berserker. Gets attack priority every turn. Kinrao, SR. Attribute super serious. Nullify any special effects based around seduction or bribery. Exception, this character can be charmed by the golden sphere card.
That is so great.
And then, yo, forbidden card. Attribute gimmick. Say, isn't the opponent's deck kind of unfair? If you think so, punch them in their real life face.
Wow.
I want that card.
That's so good. And actually, that'd
Yeah.
be so fun.
I kind of want this game to be real just
Right?
so we can play, but I won't punch anyone.
hmm
Um, oh, and we're going to introduce a new voice actor. So we met Ibarra, who's going to be a new bad guy, apparently. He's played by Larry Brantley, who is Wishbone from Wishbone, if you've ever watched that show. Childhood memories right there. Spinner from My Hero Academia, and Fura from Tokyo Ghoul. Ibara means thorn or briar in Japanese. Is it because he's a prick?
Maybe.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yes.
Okay.
I've said worse on here. Uh, all
Okay,
right.
that's about it for the
Yeah,
show and
we
manga
just have
notes.
one thing left. Do you wanna
Yes.
do the honors?
I thank you very much. Okay, so if you've been following us for a while, you'll know that we love Tokyo Revengers, and we were absolutely devastated when it seemed like what's current wouldn't get dubbed because it's on Hulu and the rights and the dubbing situation was all confused. But this past week, I was on Instagram and I follow some voice actors, and I saw that Adam MacArthur had posted on his story. And if you don't know, he plays Chibiu in Tokyo Revengers, one of our favorites. I clicked on his story, and all it said is, "We're back" on the poster for that season. And I thought, wait, are you serious? So I had to double check, and I looked it up, and yes, it will be dubbed on Hulu. And of course, I like freaked out and sent everything to Meg and was like, Meg, look at this, look at this. And
Yeah, I
what
was
was your
so excited.
reaction?
Well, I was with people, so I was with people who wouldn't understand, so I couldn't freak out, but internally I was like, yes, this is the best day ever. I was so excited.
I think I
I'm so
was.
happy. But if you want to imagine what my reaction would have been, just picture the dance sequence from the new Dr. Stone intro. And and that's about what it felt like.
We will probably be making a bonus episode when we end up watching
Oh,
that.
100%. All right. That's all we've got. So, Megan, what was your favorite line of the episode?
Mine came from Senku replying to Ginro when he asked for help. No, we cannot help. You idiot! You're the one who's supposed to be helping us! And that's like legit the first time I've seen Senku get almost furious. Like he wasn't quite there to the breaking point. He was trying to hold it in, but you don't see him get like really mad.
hmm But I think it was warranted.
Oh, yeah. What was your line, Meg?
Mine came from Gen when he was setting Kohaku and Senku up. He's like, now, what are you waiting for? Go to her, the lab, old buddy, old pal. My, you're just so shy.
Oh, again.
I love him.
That was quick thinking though.
It was. It's totally, totally again.
Yep.
Okay. What was, I mean, no, sorry. What did we learn?
This comes courtesy of you, Meg, but use your head in the middle of a crisis. Don't lose your head like Chrome. And I just wrote a pterodactyl screech.
That was the first time we watched it. It was like, no.
When that happened, I think I
Ugh.
made like a noise.
And then who pushed the Tori forward?
Ryusui and Ukyo for saving Suika and Ginro.
Yeah, they got two more people in their team.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. I think that's all we've got. So we will be back next week with another episode.
Yes, thanks for listening. Follow us on YouTube and Instagram, and if you got any questions or comments, you can email us at theanimeiceberg@gmail.com.
Yes. All right.
Bye!
Bye.